Avoiding conflict at work could be silently destroying your leadership potential. It can severely impact your career. When conversations get tense, most people are really afraid of what's happening inside of them. It's not about the other person, it's about you. Let me explain. Conflicts that occur now that you're an adult can trigger your early childhood experiences without you even realizing it. Those unhelpful childhood responses unconsciously influence how you respond as an adult and limit your ability to lead and to influence. The big question is, how do you stop your brain from going into panic mode and you acting like a child, fighting with siblings or being humiliated by a teacher or being bullied on the playground? Now, most managers think that they fear workplace conflict because it might end in awkward Zoom silence when no one wants to speak up, or the passive-aggressive email wars that you might have seen. Who wants to explain to their boss that their team isn't performing because they spend so much time sorting out petty squabbles and so-called personality clashes? Now, explaining poor team performance to your boss is bad enough, but what about the energy drain this becomes for you and how it can limit your career? Stay with me, because I'll show you three ways to handle conflict confidently without awkwardness, anxiety, or the urge to disappear under your desk. Now, the mistake most people make is that they believe they're just bad at confrontation and always will be. Well, that's a fixed mindset. The idea that this is just how I am. But here's the truth. Handling conflict is a skill, not a personality trait. And skills can be learned. When I worked as a psychodrama therapist in a drug and alcohol treatment hospital, I had to learn this real fast. Patients would come to my program, usually 3 weeks into their treatment, and by that stage they were angry, defensive, and ready to challenge everything. They didn't want to be there, and especially they didn't want to face the triggers to their drinking and drugging. Now, my job was to help them do precisely that. It was intense, and at first I was terrified. I realized that much of that terror related to my own childhood experiences. But I discovered 3 things that changed everything for me. Let me share this with you. The first one was to reframe your mindset. Your mindset shapes your approach to conflict. So instead of thinking, I've always been bad at this, shift to, up until now I've struggled, but I'm learning how to do it better. Now, this small change moves you from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset, where you believe that you can improve. That belief will change how you show up. Once you believe you can change, then you'll be prepared to take the second step. Calm your body and your mind. So here's the next thing that you can do. When you're in a tense situation, your brain works against you. Well, it sort of works for you as well, because it prepares you for survival with that fight-flight response. Your heart rate spikes and your muscles tighten, and suddenly your whole logical brain is out of office. You don't need that in a conflict. What's the quickest way then that you can regain control? It's to breathe, like deep belly breathing. And that sends a message to your whole nervous system that you are safe. While you're at it, you can name your feelings to yourself. Just say something like, I'm feeling anxious, I'm feeling tense. This simple step helps you regulate your emotions instead of letting them take over. You own them. To name them is to tame them. Now, once you've calmed down, you can apply step 3. Step 3, get curious instead of defensive. So when someone's upset, your first instinct is to defend yourself. But here's the trick. Don't react. Instead, just get curious. Acknowledge to them that they're upset, that they're annoyed or concerned or whatever they've been displaying. And then, instead of asking, why are you upset, which sounds a little bit like an attack, ask, what's happening for you right now? Or, what's making this important for you? What questions keep the conversation open and show the other person that you're listening. Now, when people feel heard, their anger often dissolves. So, Managing conflict is a skill you can learn. Calm yourself by breathing and naming your feelings to yourself, and get curious rather than defensive. So next time conflict creeps in, which one of these shifts will you try first?